Rated PG-13. Parents strongly caution. Prince Rogers Nelson was an American singer, songwriter, record producer, multi-instrumentalist, actor, and director. However, on April 21st, 2016, the artist known as Prince was no more. Upon the breaking news of his mysterious death, many outlets in the media made speculations as to what attributed to Prince's death. Many people on social media began their own speculations about who was responsible for Prince's death. For many, aside from the bizarre circumstances surrounding Prince's death, the TMZ reporting style on what may have contributed to the death of Prince was strange and salacious. TMZ, the Time Warner-owned celebrity news source, reported several different stories about the death of Prince, including reports that Prince may have had AIDS or HIV. Other reports from TMZ stated that Prince's estate once made an emergency phone call about a possible cocaine overdose. TMZ made a final report that Prince died from an overdose of Percocets. Many felt that there may have been an agenda or an extreme bias in the reporting of Prince's death, given that TMZ is owned by Time Warner. Time Warner, the same company that Prince spent over 18 years in a hot and cold war with over the rights to his music. Prince at the time condemned the way major record labels operated and went on a campaign in a series of public speeches while having the word slave inscribed over his face and then changing his name to a symbol. Shortly before his death, a deal was celebrated for the possible acquisition of his entire Warner Brothers catalog. In a deal that may have allowed for the ability to terminate masters' recording copyrights after 35 years was granted in the Copyright Revision Act of 1976 and became effective in 1978, which was the exact year that Prince's debut album came out. The effort was in large part aided by an aspect of copyright law that allows authors to grab back rights from publishers after 35 years. With the deadline looming on his termination rights, leverage shifted to Prince, and he was no longer a slave. Prince was notorious for guarding the distribution of his music. He even sued 22 Facebook users for linking to bootlegs of his recordings. Of course, after backlash from the public, Prince withdrew the lawsuit. Prince had a ban on many platforms from distributing his music, such as Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Deezer. The many reasons why the ban existed is that many of the streaming sites for digital sales and internet music were failing to pay artists. Prince even declared in 2010 that the internet was completely over. Some years later, he stated, "What I meant was the internet was over for anyone who wants to get paid, and I was right about that." Prince, however, was interested in the services of Jay-Z's Tidal. However, immediately after Prince's death, any negotiations with Tidal were taken off the table by Prince's estate. And after the Copyright Revision Act of 1976, after 35 years which allowed for Prince to regain control of his Time Warner catalog, unfortunately due to no will materializing after his death, Prince lost control of his music once again. And after the announcement of Prince's death, news began to spread immediately that Prince's music would once again be showing up on all streaming platforms, including Spotify and Apple Music. Recently, Justin Timberlake held a listening session for his album, Man in the Woods, at Paisley Park. Many of Prince's fans were turned off by the idea. Prince and Justin Timberlake publicly took shots at each other. Prince made a post-Emmy speech in 2006 where he stated, "For whoever is claiming that they are bringing sexy back, sexy never left." In 2007 at the Golden Globes, Justin Timberlake was to present Prince with the award for the Song of the Heart, his original tune for 2006's Happy Feet. Prince was stuck in LA traffic. Justin Timberlake accepted the award on his behalf while mocking Prince's height.
Well, I guess Prince couldn't be here, so I'd like to accept this award on his behalf.
Timberlake went on to diss Prince later on that year in Timberland's Give It To Me featuring Nelly Furtado. In the song, Timberlake responds to Prince's sexy comments with,
"Yeah, I saw you trying to act cute on TV, just let me clear the air. We missed you on the charts last weekend, that's right, you wasn't there. If so sexy never left, and why is everybody on my shit?
Justin Timberlake had a listening party for his new album, Man in the Woods. Many of Prince's fans found the listening ritual for Justin Timberlake's new album strange, given his history with Prince. And for the first time at Paisley Park, alcohol was served on the property in celebration of Justin Timberlake's new album. Despite the fallout from the halftime performance during Super Bowl 38 with Janet Jackson, many people speculated that Justin Timberlake would reunite with Janet on stage. Janet Jackson, however, issued a statement debunking the rumors. To put any speculations to rest as to whether I will be performing at the Super Bowl tomorrow, I will not. After the Super Bowl 38 halftime controversy, Janet Jackson was effectively blackballed from the industry. As the public began to criticize and ridicule Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, on the other hand, seemed to have been spared during the firestorm. Janet Jackson faced serious fines and the possibility of other lawsuits that were pending at the time. Justin Timberlake, on the other hand, was able to make light of the situation, and he even went on a slight campaign making fun of Janet Jackson. Some critics, however, felt the situation was overblown and was this really about indecency and maintaining an air of politeness in a society that is already indoctrinated by salacious media? Or was this simply another hit piece against the Jackson family as a collective? Given that Justin Timberlake was spared during the melee of hate against Janet Jackson in the backlash from Super Bowl 38's halftime show, it would appear that the agenda was another hit piece against the Jackson family. The backlash coming 3 years after Michael Jackson released his album, Invincible, in 2001. The album was charted #1 all over the world, but for some strange reason, not in the United States. And several times Michael Jackson had alluded to the possibility of the intentions behind the industry purposely suppressing the album sales of Invincible in the United States. In just 1 year after the backlash from the Janet Jackson halftime performance with Justin Timberlake, Michael Jackson himself was brought up again on charges of child molestation and child abuse by the state of California in 2005. While both the careers of Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson were tarnished in the process, Michael Jackson passing away on June 25, 2009, and Janet Jackson essentially exiling herself from the country, Justin Timberlake's career was able to prosper and continue on. In fact, Justin Timberlake had been invited once again back to perform during the halftime for Super Bowl 52. Later reports began to surface that Justin Timberlake may be doing a tribute to Prince in his own hometown of Minneapolis, where Super Bowl 52 was being held, with a Prince hologram. Reports leading up to the event became scattered and conflicted. Sheila E. tweeted her disapproval of a possible Prince hologram. She stated that Prince once told her that it was demonic to do that to any artist. Interestingly enough, the fact that Michael Jackson continued his fight with the music industry all the way up until his death had his likeness and image resurrected once again to perform at 2014 Billboard Music Award for the unreleased song Slave to the Rhythm. And for many watching the performance and critics of the performance from afar stated it was as if Michael Jackson's soul was once again a slave in the industry. And this is exactly what Prince was aware of. In a 1998 interview with Guitar World, Prince previously expressed his disgust at artist holograms, calling them demonic. When asked whether he would ever consider playing with another artist's hologram, he responded, "Certainly not. That's the most demonic thing imaginable," he continued. "Everything is as it is, and it should be. If I was meant to jam with Duke Ellington, we would have lived in the same age. The whole virtual reality thing, it really is demonic, and I am not a demon." Also, what they did with the Beatles song, Free as a Bird, manipulating John Lennon's voice to have him singing over from across the grave, that'll never happen to me. To prevent that kind of thing from happening is another reason why I want artistic control. The news of a possible Prince hologram was broken by TMZ, Pitchfork, Rolling Stone Online, and Fader. The family of Prince stated that they did not approve or authorize any hologram of Prince to be used during the halftime show. But where did the idea come from? Sure, we have seen the likes of Elvis, Tupac, and Michael Jackson be reintroduced as a hologram, But why was the idea of a Prince hologram being floated around, even though the man himself called the idea demonic? The idea was actually sparked by Prince's full-blooded sibling, Tyka Nelson, who stated a hologram could be done as long as it is of excellent quality, she told News. It would have to allow for the fans to experience Prince in the way he allowed us to experience his music. So even though the backlash detoured the possibility of a Prince hologram standing alongside with Justin Timberlake for the halftime show for Super Bowl 52, it would appear that Tyka Nelson is open to the idea of a Prince hologram tour, despite the facts that her brother Prince called the idea demonic. From having the man who publicly mocked Prince on several occasions, Justin Timberlake, being able to have a listening party at Paisley Park and having alcohol served on the premises for the first time, and to have to lose control over his music once again in death, with all of his publishing rights going right back to Warner Brothers, a company Prince spent most of his life fighting, and now the possibility that his full-blooded sibling sister, Tyka Nelson, has said on several occasions that she is up for the idea of a possible Prince hologram tour, all to generate more money, even though publicly Prince spoke out against the idea of any hologram representation of himself. He considered the idea demonic. It would appear that the Purple God himself, just like many music artists before him, has been reduced to another slave of the rhythm.
Kim woke up feeling great and wanted to tell her friends some wonderful news. Firing up her desktop, she went to Facebook to log in, only to find herself in Facebook jail. It was then she was freed by Black Spot. She quickly heads over to the website and creates her account, not having to worry about Facebook's intrusive policies. Freedom. Be smart. Be like Kim. Join Black Spot.
There you go.